in Catholic League a picket fence. You know what I'm saying? Because one kid who was older and bigger and was killing us. We basically hold three of us would hold our hands to stop that kid from dribble driving, and that's what they did. It was blatant. They basically Nick Nurse basically said that guy Joe Harris, don't let him shoot, and that other guy Karis LeVert, don't let him get the ball in his hand comfortably. When he
Yeah.
gets the ball, you triple team him, and
Yep.
every single time they did, the very best defense in the NBA, and Karis LeVert, and the thing, and this is why I'm like disgusted that Net fans are really criticizing him. He's basically averaging a double double, and if the last game it wasn't not because he wasn't passing the ball, it was because two things: they figured out how to almost completely eliminate Jared Allen. That defense was incredible. Jared Allen, I don't think he got a field goal. I saw it. I made a note for the show. And I still can't believe that it's true. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm confirming.
No,
Dude,
look.
he didn't make a field goal attempt. Do you
No, I mean, look.
understand how good of a defense that is?
Yeah.
That Jared Allen didn't make a field goal attempt and Garrett Temple took 12 shots. Timothy Luau-Cabarrot took 15 shots. You
Yeah, I
know,
mean, look, the thing is though about Temple, and this kind of goes to I think a theme of like some of our on our disagreements, and also I think what we're kind of looking for this coming year, and this is like a two-parter point that I have is like if you look into what the roster and what the allocation, and like we can say right now that we could have our disagreements with what Jacques Vaughn and even with what Kenny and even Jacques Vaughn, although we never really saw Jacques Vaughn coach a healthy Nets team at all, so we don't know what he would have done with Garrett Temple. But like when they went into this season, this year, you could arguably say that Kyrie, I'm counting on my fingers, Kyrie, LeVert, Dinwiddie, Torian Prince, DeAndre, and Jared Allen. That's six guys. And then Temple is really the seventh man. And on a team that's missing Durant, and I missed Joe Harris. So that really makes him the eighth man.
mm-hmm.
And that's without KD, which could really make him the ninth man, which like to me then isn't that big of a deal. Now the fact
That would
that
be
Kenny,
okay if he didn't
so
if Garrett Temple didn't routinely get off the bench before Spencer Dinwiddie.
no, 100%. And
That
that's why
doesn't make him the sixth man. Dinwiddie was the sixth man.
no, you're right.
However,
I think
in those
like,
rotations, and it disgusted me. It like I literally would
totally
get the
agree.
hives. He
Totally
would
agree.
get off the bench before, and he's averaging 2 minutes less than Karis LeVert. That is
Yeah,
a crime.
look, like Vaughn got to a point where he was just like, bro, like I need TLC in, and I need him to play a lot of minutes because the dude's at least creating for others and creating for himself. And like TLC is like I thought this guy was the only thing I ever thought that TLC did well ever in his entire time as a Net before the bubble was when he got tasked with guarding Harden in the Houston game, and he ran up with him from for the full court press. That was the only thing I ever liked that he did.
Yeah, and he's not really that good either. But
No,
still,
he's not.
but still, Toronto figured out how to just eliminate him. Toronto made him ridiculously uncomfortable, and again, it's like, how is this making how is this coming together? Is it just Sean Marks going, you know what? Garrett Temple plays and he has to play. Because if you remember, Garrett Temple even started over Karis LeVert.
Yeah, no, he did. You're right.
So, and it wasn't, and people go, oh, Karis was coming off injury. No. Karis was back 2 weeks. Temple and him were coming off the bench.
Yep.
And they moved one of them into the starting lineup with Kyrie because it wasn't working with Dinwiddie. So I have heard, and I choose not to believe, because I got enough other problems with Kyrie, that Kyrie requested to have Temple put into the starting lineup. And that is concerning for me. Like, when I hear these things, the Kyrie is a child star. He's no different from That's So Raven. He's no different from, the Coreys from the 80s. He's a child star. He's been a superstar his entire life. And well deserved, right? But child stars, because of us, because of how we mere mortals react to them, are pretentious. And those stories about him not wanting to wear the heart rate monitor and activity monitor, the stories about him not wanting to take off his hat, the all of a sudden outburst after the NBA voted 28-0 to have the bubble, the day that after everyone signed everything, he's like, wait, let's start another NBA, our own NBA. Like, all these things are par for the course with Kyrie, and I'm fine with. But the things that I can't stand, and the thing that I refuse to be happy about and not say something, is if he's calling shots and forcing people like Garrett Temple into the starting lineup. That's when this organization has problems. Do you think that's possible? That could have happened?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it is. I think it is possible, and I think the Kyrie thing is it's just going to be something that we're going to have to like deal with and ride the wave of, because it's the hand that we got, the hand that we were dealt. As we've said, I'm more content with it than other Net fans are, because I just think this is kind of the name of the game. But so I have a question for you. So let's say, on a typical NBA roster, right? You got like 12 or 13 guys active in a 15-man roster, right?
Right.
So I'm looking at, like, I have the Nets. I'm on the beautiful website of like Spot Track, or however you say that website, and they got Basketball Reference out and everything. So these are the guys who I think will definitely be on the roster next year. Like, all right, so let's say besides trades, because that's like a whole other animal, and like it's hard to then project out rosters because of that, right? Okay. So if you have Allen and DJ, that's two. Mm-hmm. Then you got forwards. You have KD, you got TP, another two. That's four. Then you have the Kyrie, LeVert, Joe Harris, and Dinwiddie. That's four. All right. So now we're at 8. Then you have then there's still guys under contract. So you have guys like, and I know I penciled in Joe Harris as if they're signing him back, because all intentions seem like that. They're signing
Joe Harris. Joe Harris is not going anywhere.
I think we're all in agreement about that. So then they have a club option for 2020, 2021 on Garrett Temple. They have Musa, TLC, Kurucs, and Claxton all under control. And then there's obviously all the other guys like the Jeremiah Martins and Chiozas and all that stuff. I would bet that TLC is on the roster next year, because he seems like he's a net. Mm-hmm. I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, like, I guess Musa has to be on the roster, although like at this point he doesn't really seem like he has a place with the team.
I think Musa is going back to Europe.
Yeah, right. I could see, right. I mean, like, he seems like someone who would kill it in Europe, and like, because he's skilled, but he just isn't getting an option here.
He needs to be reminded that he's good.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? It's either that he's not fast enough, because that's, that does happen. He could just be a step slow and that might not be good for him to play here in this league. That might not be, the NBA may not be for him. But I believe he just needs to be reminded that he's good. I think he can shoot threes. I think he could score. And right now he cannot, because the ball doesn't go in. If the ball doesn't go in, and you're Jean and Musa, you're not going to be any good. But he's not going to be on the roster next year.
So all right. So that was like with the two centers, those two forwards, those 4 guards. That's 8 plus TLC is 9 plus Claxton is 10. Then you have the team option on Temple, the club option on Temple, and then you got, what are they going to do about Wilson Chandler is a free agent, and then you got the Tyler Johnson, Chioza, crap. And then so it's just interesting. On top of the fact that, and by the way, this is a low key, just very unbelievable move by Sean Marks, which is why I'm just like I always got to give him some credit when it's due. He clearly didn't like anybody last year that late in the first round. Traded the pick, had the Knicks pick it and treated that as a second rounder. Picked up Claxton, who I think a lot of us are excited about, and then traded from the Clippers and got the Sixers pick. So the Nets now have the 19th pick in this draft. And I know everyone hates this draft, whatever, but that's another asset that they can use for whatever they want to do, whether it's the 19th pick in Dinwiddie for Aaron Gordon or
if these playoffs told me anything, right? You see the guys that are playing in the playoffs right now? And the only person I absolve of this is Garrett Temple. All of these dudes are gone.
Yeah.
As sad as that makes me, like I choke up as I say it, because to me, I feel like the guys that are in the bubble are the ones that are the real Nets. I feel those are the Brooklyn Nets, right? But I realize that part of the reason, like it's the thing that you were saying, last episode, where it was like kind of weird that the Nets that are at home aren't cheering, actively on Twitter for the Nets that are playing. And if you notice, most of the Nets that are at home are FOKK, friends of Kyrie and KD, right? So whatever they're cooking up may not work, and everybody comes back, and you can have, all kinds of conversations about who plays and who doesn't play. But I feel like the strongest message these last 3 games tell me is that, and I'm, obviously I'm guessing, it's not based off of anything that I'm told. Well, yeah, it is kind of based off something I'm told. I'm told that Kyrie likes Anthony Davis, and Anthony Davis really respects Kyrie. Like a lot of dudes, Kyrie's age and younger, respect Kyrie, and wants to play with him. And kind of is looking around at the Lakers like everybody else is now. Remember, like 3 or 4 episodes back, I was telling you that during these playoffs, everyone would kind of, the national writers would start kind of realizing, oh shit, LeBron James is old. James scored 11 points his last game, or 10 points his last game.
This is the worst I've ever seen him look, basically.
Okay. Father Time is undefeated. Now, is LeBron James going to be better than most NBA players? Yes. But is LeBron James going to be like me and you, us two alone, we're going to win we're going to challenge for championships? No. He's not going to be that LeBron James next year. And that's not me, dissing Bron. Like, for me, I think LeBron has made me respect him for accomplishing the things that he's accomplished. But right now, LeBron can't hold Kevin Durant. And that's what I realized why. I kind of, I was scouting some of these prospects in the draft and kind of getting familiar, and I'm watching draft tape. Then obviously that's not my job, but I started doing my real job. But my television behind me just basically had YouTube autoplay, and it came to a Kevin Durant highlight reel, because when you look at Brooklyn Nets stuff and you look at basketball in general, it'll eventually get to a point of showing you Durant. And I'm looking at Durant play. And Kevin Durant, Sam, is a bloodthirsty killer.
Oh, yeah.
He is so ruthless that as he's playing, he understands he's humiliating. He understands that because of the humiliation that he's giving you, you may never eat again. But he's so ruthless, he will continue to embarrass you in ways that a 7-foot player should not. He's just simply unfair. And That's what kind of holds this whole thing together for me. But none of these guys is